It's playoff time here in Southern California, and we are here to bring you all the action. Hello, and thanks for joining us. I'm Maria Serrao. We are here today, of course, at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, where the Rams have won their division and they are headed to the playoffs. So let's take a look back at this magical season.
This entire season, I think it's been a testament to the guys we have on this team that, we don't rely on just one person to make the plays for us. And, week in and week out, you see different guys step up. And you just have, always expect the ball's to be coming your way because there's so many guys that can make plays, and you never know when that's going to be an opportunity.
It's been clicking offensively, defensively. What's allowing you guys to be different to get the wins?
Just believing in the process and everybody sticking together no matter what happens, and just keep pushing forward each and every day,
What was different between the first half and the second half?
Well, first half we didn't put up many points. Second half we put up like 21 or something like that, and we got a couple more turnovers and just kept it rolling. We didn't start out hot, I guess, as far as offensively, I guess you would say, but they kept pushing, and with AD getting a good sack fumble there at the beginning, it's definitely a great tone setter.
Felt good out there, able to spring two in the end zone. Coach Jarve said when they come in bunches, back-to-back 2 touchdown games. But credit to my teammates, setting it up, and Higbee for taking the safety out of the way and just one-on-one with the corner. Teammates are setting it up, and just been clicking so far.
On the long one, describe kind of what you're thinking when you hear that play called in the huddle.
Just I heard the play call. I looked up, checked the coverage, and pretty much saw the matchup and ran my route. I felt like I beat the guy and took 3 steps and saw the ball fly out. The ball was on the money. Jared put it right in the palm of my hands where I was just able to catch it and run, and saw the end zone and just raced the end zone.
Do you know the last time you had a touchdown that long?
No, I don't. It's probably here for sure in college.
Yeah.
Like you said, we just all play together. You never know where it's going to come from. Defense hold us down this first half, and offense respond to the second half. So that's the type of team we have.
Tavon, what changed in the second half for the offense? You guys really got going in the third.
Just the game plan. Sean McVay at his best. Come in here, draw things up, and everybody do their part and make the best out of it.
What was his message to you guys at halftime?
Nothing, relax. Just keep playing ball. He drew up some plays and just told us, let's go out there and be 7-1, 7-2.
How much did Clowney kind of affect what you guys wanted to do in the first half?
He definitely came in hard in the beginning. He definitely slowed down towards the end, though. But awesome player, man. And it's hard to run at him, So, definitely has to go off to him.
It looked like it. 7-2. What's 7-2 mean?
Mean a lot. I've never been 7-2 in this league, So, I was part of the hard times, So, it definitely feels good to be on this side of the ball.
Yeah, I think that's a real credit to our team to be able to have those 5 guys representing our team. And I think what's so unique about those guys is the first thing when you talk to all of them is they talk about, being a part of the unit. And that's a real representation of what type of character we have on this football team. But specifically to have those guys represented on the special teams, I think when you look at Pharaoh Cooper and some of the things that he's been able to do, very happy for Pharaoh. He's done such a great job this year. And then Greg and Johnny, have been consistent producers and performers for us all year. But, it's all started with the leadership of John Fossil, and he's as good as there is. And I think, what he's done with our special teams unit, the guidance, the leadership that he provides, you feel fortunate to have a guy like that on your staff, and you just feel how authentic and genuine he is, too. And he gets the most out of these guys, and when you've got talented players like that, those are the results. So we're very pleased for those guys.
Being selected to the Pro Bowl this year, it was a great, honor and feeling, to be selected to the Pro Bowl. I get a lot of credit, to those guys out there blocking, but, when I found out the news, it was great, Of course, Johnny Hecker made it, and then Greg Zuerlein made it, that shows, how much, good of a job Coach Bones and Coach Todd do, with the whole special teams unit all around. I feel like we could have had some, more guys in there just as a, special teams player, but, it speaks a lot.
What's the magic of Coach Bones? What has he instilled in you guys to get where you are now?
Really, Bones is, he just lets us, go out there and have fun and, and compete and, play free. He's not, stressing about like you got to do this. We got to our little techniques we use, 5 or 6 of them. He just lets us play. He says stay penalty free and go out there and have fun and just use our techniques, and that's what everybody just has fun with it.
Now, this season, the Rams have participated in many charitable causes, including My Cause, My Cleats, where the players got to display their favorite charities on their cleats. Now, I caught up with several of the Rams players who told me why the charities are so close to their hearts.
One of those things for me. I think the opportunity to have something the NFL allows us to do to voice our feelings about things going on in the country and really in the world and issues out there. I think it's awesome for guys to get that opportunity. And so for me, really sitting there's obviously a lot of things that I do in community and care about, but one that's really been on my heart here lately is just stuff for the military. And so one foundation that I've been around and been a part of is MVP, and I've had the opportunity to attend some of their meetings and be with those guys, and just that camaraderie and of being with all of them has really touched me, and something I wanted to shed some light on.
For people that don't know what that's like, what is that experience like being with guys that are there to protect us and keep our freedom safe?
Well, I mean, these men and women literally have given their lives, and sacrificed their time, their ability, gone and done things and been a part of places that are scary and that most of us could never understand. And so that freedom that we get, that we're blessed with, that they've given us the opportunity and fought for, I think it's something that none of us can ever take lightly and can ever honestly do enough to thank them. And so I really think any opportunity you get a chance to be around them and you see somebody who's in the service or has served, just that simple thank you and just that simple show of respect to them, it can go so far. And so for me, it's any opportunity that you get an opportunity to do that. I think it's important for all of us to realize how special that can be.
It's interesting because for so many of the younger players that have never done this before, do you think that it helps their game on the field to give back?
Well, I think it helps them realize what it means really in life to be balanced, to have things in life that drive you and what your why is. I think sometimes players get caught up in this game about money and stats and all these things that really are outside things that really have nothing to do with who they are on a daily basis, nothing to do with how they got to where they are. And this is a great opportunity the NFL is providing that is giving us a chance to really check ourselves and say, hey, why do I do this? What is important to me in this world, and what do I want people to know about myself? When they look up your name, not just the last name on the back of your jersey for stats and for how much money you've made in the league, but what's important to this guy. And I think the opportunity to really shed light on that, for guys to get the opportunity to talk about that, is that's the first step to us making progress.
It's been an interesting season. You came in with a lot of young guys, and you're kind of the veteran on the team now. Talk about that.
You get used to it as the years go on and you get way up there in the league. It's you're kind of the old man and you start to hear all the jokes all the time. So I'm used to that. But honestly, it's been an awesome blessing. I mean, just a young team that I've been able to get a lot of energy from and just be around. Their enthusiasm has been fun for me, and it's a change. It's been a new scenery for me and all those things. So we've enjoyed it. Our kids are loving it. My wife's loving it, and we've had a lot of fun out here.
It's a good time to be around, that's for sure. Now, have you seen the cleats yet?
I have. I'm excited about them, and just excited about the opportunity to have a week like this, like I said, for guys to talk a little bit about what makes them who they are and what their why is.
You are part of the program this weekend, and a very personal story for you. You're representing the American Heart Association. Tell the viewers your story.
Yes, it started out when I was like 17 years old. I had just signed to USC. A week later, my mom died from a massive heart attack. I tried to save her life, tried to do CPR and save her life, but ambulance didn't get there in time. She didn't really make it. They say she passed away on the way to the hospital. But ever since I found out it was a heart situation, I always try to do a better job of paying attention to my health as far as my high blood pressure and things like that. But that right there is like what drove me to go with the American Heart Association. I supported them because they look after people that had heart problems, that passed away from heart situations, and so when I had the first opportunity that I had to go with a
a certain association, I had just asked the organization, do they got the American Heart Association, just for the people that's with hearts, and they were like, yeah, they can do it, and they can put it on there, and so they put it on the list, and I went with it from there, and this is my second time being involved with it, and it's cool, it's real cool, it's something that I love to express on my cleats on the football field, because normally we get fined for things like that, so to have it on the shoe and actually show the opponent or the referee just like what you representing, like what are you really like, what's your purpose and what you plan for. I think it's really cool. I think it's really a really neat thing to do.
And such an important message, because people tend to forget about getting their heart checked and things like that. So a great reminder as well.
Yep. Yes, definitely. And so I always ask, when I do my physicals, I always ask the doctors how my heart looking. Yep.
That's right. Doing things off the field for charity, how do you think it helps your game on the field now that you've been in the league for a while?
It just gives you more motivation, gives you more drive, and it makes you feel like you're a part of something. So with those things put together, it makes you want to go out there on the football field and actually do really great things, and it pushes you on the field, and you know people watching now because you stepped out on that platform and made it important to yourself that what you're doing is for a real purpose, and it's for real. And the one thing about athletes, we have a big voice. And so the things that we say, it actually sinks into certain people. And so we just try to exemplify actions as a professional every day, and come out here and just be an example for the kids, and try to lead them in the right direction, and stay positive, man, because the kids need it more than anything. You know, their future is brighter than ours, so it's imperative that we give the same thing that was given to us when we was growing up.
My last question is, have you seen the cleats?
Yes, I did. I seen the cleats. I really like them.
Very cool.
So I got my mom's name
nice.
inside the shoe, like on the shoe. I got her whole name, and then I got from the day that she was born to the day that she passed on the other shoe, and it's all red with the American Heart Association logo, like right on the ankle. So when I see them, they like real red, fiery, like representing the heart, blood, and heart. So the symbolism on the shoe, all that is just real good.
Well, Mikhail, you have a guardian angel looking down on you, that's for sure. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. Such a pleasure.
No problem, Maria.
And giving back is not something the Rams do just during the holidays. It's a year-round program, as I found out when I sat down with the lady who makes it all happen.
Really, since the return to Los Angeles, we embarked on a listening tour. So we're out meeting with a lot of different nonprofits and community leaders to really try to understand the needs of this community. And then we go back and strategize on how best to kind of layer in our unique assets to support those needs.
You know, I was going to ask you, how do you select? There's so many people that need help. How do you sort of select?
That's the tough part, really. I mean, there were over 5,000 nonprofits in Los Angeles. So if you think about that, that's a pretty unbelievable number. A lot of times, you know, people are like, are you overwhelmed by the need? And my response is always, I'm not overwhelmed, I'm energized and I'm invigorated, because there's so much need, and I think we can do so much good for this community.
Now, this is pretty much separate from maybe players that have their own foundations. Is that right? Kind of tell us to differentiate that.
Sure. So the team, we do a lot just through the Rams, and then we have a couple players that do things on their own. And we're always very supportive of the players and their individual efforts as well. But I think we have an amazing locker room of players. In fact, we have over 40 players doing holiday efforts this year. So we have, you know, guys that are doing work through the Rams and then some on their own. But, you know, I always say the fans don't differentiate whether it's their foundation or the Rams work. So we support both.
And I noticed lately there's been so many things, and players have been coming out for everything. I know that Andrew Whitworth gave bikes away to kids at a school, and you were at Walmart, you know, kids were Christmas shopping with the players. How do you sort of put together these events?
So with Andrew came to Erica from my team and said, hey, Erica, I want to do something and give away bikes for a community in need. And Erica came to me and said, Molly, what are your thoughts? Do you have any ideas? And I said, well, what does he want to like kind of focus on? And she said, character, so high character and developing good character with students. So I said, I have just the school in mind. It's a school in Watts. It's very high need. And they have a new principal that's trying to instill good character in their students to kind of use that as a foundation to make it a higher performing school. So I reached out and said, we have a player, a very generous player that wants to do a bike giveaway. At that point, we didn't know that Andrew was going to do all 600 students, which, you know, I mean, a lot of times you hear about players that maybe do 50 or 100. In my 15 years, I've never heard of a player doing 600 bikes. And helmets, don't forget the helmets. So
I saw the trucks, and I was like, I think he got every bike in the city.
we went to 6 different Walmarts, from Burbank all the way down to Long Beach, and purchased bikes and helmets. It took a whole day to just kind of coordinate that pickup. We had 2 semis and 1 box truck full of bikes and helmets. It was absolutely an amazing day, one that those students will never forget, and I don't think Andrew or his wife or any of us will ever forget.
You know, Andrew does a lot. He's more of a veteran player, but I think for some of the young players, it really changes them because I think you can sometimes lose perspective, and when you're brought back to doing community outreach, you kind of remember, just kind of address that.
For sure. You know, I often say that one of the toughest things, because our players are so amazing and they're great guys, but they're humble. And a lot of times, you know, they don't realize the platform that they have to do good. And part of my job and my staff's job is to help them understand and appreciate that. So we're always looking for that aha moment, is what I call it, where it's the first time that they were like, wow, I really impacted a life or created a memory today. And once you have that aha moment, everything else is going to come pretty naturally, and they're going to want to do more and more and more. But I do think we have a young team, and oftentimes they're like, what? A kid doesn't want to meet me. Like, I'm nothing special, you know? And I love the humility and just how humble they are. But I think it's our job to kind of help pull that out of them. And like I said, once you have that aha moment, you're going to come to Eric and Zach and myself and say, hey, I want to do something more. I want to do something more. So it's a fun process to kind of help them discover themselves.
Now, there's no doubt this has been a very special season for the Los Angeles Rams, including signing, well, probably the biggest name in Rams history for one day. Let's take a look.
I think today's a special day for this organization to honor a great player, great person, and somebody that's done a lot of special things, meant a lot to the organization and this league as a whole. So with that, I'll pass it to Les.
You know what? As an organization, it is rare that you get to sign a Hall of Famer to your roster, and that's exactly what we did this morning. Now, the only thing we got to figure out is, can we get him a few reps that maybe spell Todd a little bit. Now, obviously, when you sign a Hall of Famer, it probably means they're in the twilight of their career, so probably couldn't give us too many reps. But maybe Sean, if we get Eric and maybe a few of his OL buddies, bring them back and maybe goal line package or short yardage or something.
It looks like he's got some carries left in him.
No.
No,
First of all, it's an honor for me to be sitting here. It's like getting drafted all over again. I see my friend Jim Hill, you know, and I got drafted, he was there. And, you know, to be back truly a Los Angeles Ram. I played for Los Angeles Rams for 4 years. And it seemed like I played longer because I always ask people, how long do you think I played for the Rams? 10 years? Nope. 8 years? Nope. 12? No. 4. And I just feel like that God gave me such a gift, and I thank Him for this opportunity to the things that I was able to do on the football field through the guys that played with me. My friend David Hill, right here, was my tight end. You know, laying down the blocks. Dennis Harrer, Bill Baines, Jackie Slater, Tom Newberry. All those guys, James McDonald, Dennis Harrer. I know Dennis would like to be here with his big head, so. You know, and those guys, and my coach Robinson, you know, John Robinson, who and put in the running game for me, made me that guy. It was an honor to play for the Los Angeles Rams. We were truly a running football team. When we came to town, people knew what we were going to do. There was nothing fancy about it. We ran the ball. We ran it well, and we had some great guys on this football team. And I can say I'm really happy for this moment because
even when I left the Rams, I was always a Ram. I was always the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, you know, I never wanted to leave this football team when I got traded. In my heart, I think that, I mean, my heart was broken just like a lot of fans' hearts were broken that day. I mean, as a player, as a man, you know, as a young man back in your 26 to 27 years old, you don't want to show any emotions. You know, you're like, hey, you know, that's part of the business. But really, I can honestly say, sitting here, you know, at 56 years old, my heart was broken when I left the Rams because I played hard for them, and I still pull for the Rams. And even when I came back into the Ram family years after I retired, I still pull for my football team. And just like last year, it was a rough year for the team, but no matter what, you know, I still pull for the team. I mean, I love the football team. It's just like, you know, when you play, whatever college you played for, you love that college, you know, and somebody else might not like it, but you like your college. And I just want to say, you know, Coach, thank you. And let's thank you very much, you know, for the opportunity to sign, you know, my one-day contract. I just want to know what I'm getting my signing bonus, you know.
Eric, if you had one more play in you, what would it be, do you think?
If I had one more play, you know what that play would be. 47 gap. 47 gap on one ready break. That would be the play. You know, David, no, he got to get out there and get somebody.
And we have big baseball news for all of you Angel fans out there as they landed one of the biggest fish in the offseason. That's right, Shohei Ohtani is now an Angel. Of course, he's a Japanese sensation that just about every team wanted, and the Angels got him. Here's more.
It's certainly been an exciting 24-plus hours for this Angels family, that's for sure. On behalf of Artie Moreno and the staff and personnel of the Angels Baseball Organization, we welcome you here today for this very special press conference introducing Shohei Ohtani. Shohei is a native of Iwata, Japan.
This is a historic day for our organization, and organizations had many of them. And as we keep moving forward, I can only tell you from an on-field perspective how excited we are to have Shohei join our organization, join our club. And I think it's going to be something very, very special for the fans, just as it's going to be something very, very special for our players. Now, there's a lot of things that are going to add up to where we want to end up, and it's not just Shohei. But his ability, both on the mound and in the batter's box, is something that doesn't come along, it really never comes along. So our excitement is very, very high. And as we move forward, I know that Billy and Artie aren't done this winter to make our team the well-rounded championship caliber team that it can be.
Now, in addition to Ohtani, the Angels have also signed Ian Kinsler, Zach Cosart, and Justin Upton, along with Mike Trout and Albert Pujols, not to mention Andrelton Simmons. That's a pretty good lineup. Things are looking good for the Angels. And should I mention that pitchers and catchers will report to spring training next month? Hard to believe, especially for the Dodgers, who have had such a short offseason, going all the way to Game 7 in the World Series. And on our next show, we're going to take you to Fan Fest. That's right, where we will catch up with all of your favorite Dodger players. And what's it like to write a book about the game of your life? Well, I sat down with writer and reporter Jay Paris, who tells us just that. Tell me a little bit about the book. I mean, the Rams have such a rich history, and you've hit on so many great stories.
You know, they sure do, and thanks for having me. And we go for everybody from Jim Hardy, who was on the first LA team, all the way to Johnny Hecker, who's on this team. 20 Ram legends, from Gabe, Youngblood, Mac, Fred Dreyer, Vinny, Eric. They picked one game that stood out in their career. And oftentimes when you're a reporter or writer, you already have that game in mind. We're saying, hey, you pick it out, you let me know. And some of the answers were pretty surprising.
How long did it take you to work with each player?
It was, you know, it was emails and phone calls, and it was about a year or so, all told. And, you know, I grew up a Ram fan. My uncle Frank was a good Marine. And back in the day now, if you were in uniform, you could come to the game for 50 cents, and you could bring 6 kids. Well, I was one of those 6 kids back in the 60s, you know. And you'd come here, and you see the torch, and you hear Dick Enberg, and those names, Gabriel, Billy Truax, Youngblood. I mean, I get goosebumps right now. And the crowds, that's what I remember as a kid. You know, you'd have 100,000 people here of the great mix of LA population. It was kind of like Woodstock, but everybody kept their clothes on.
Yeah. You know, was going to ask you what your inspiration is, but I think you just told me.
Yeah, and when the Rams came back, I said, I missed them for 2 decades. I always checked their score first, and it was a way to connect with the guys that I grew up with. And, it was such a thrill. And, I still get goosebumps when, Jack Youngblood's on the line, or you're returning an email from Roman Gabriel, So it's fun, but, I was that 8-year-old kid again, and I hope that comes through in the book.
Another one is Kurt Warner, who, now Hall of Famer. What was he like?
As gracious as you thought, and he's been with everybody, and telling that story. Look, he went from wearing a high V store clerk apron to a gold jacket at the Hall of Fame. That's pretty good. But he tells about stocking those shelves, and stocking the shelves, and stocking those Wheaties boxes, and seeing those stars on the Wheaties boxes. And then they'd all go in, at break time, and of course, they all had aspirations, everybody in the store, and they'd go, what do you want to be when you grow up, or where do you want to go? And he would always say, I want to be an NFL quarterback. And they thought he was in the walk-in cooler too long, because here he is, and he comes out and just a phenomenal career. And, what he did in St. Louis. Another neat thing about the Rams, the only franchise to win a title in 3 different cities, 45 Cleveland, 51 L.A., 99 St. Louis.
2017, these Rams, they feel special. It just feels like something special is going on since they came back. Give me your take on the new Rams.
I think, especially this year, they're moving the needle, and that buzz is back. And with Jeff Fisher, it just didn't work out. And I think Sean McVay, the energy, the enthusiasm, just the want to and the go get 'em. I know he's 31, but he was smart. He kept a 70-year-old defensive coordinator in Wade Phillips. And I think what the Rams are doing, they can beat you so many ways. Certainly offense, averaging 30 points a game, defensively with Aaron Donald. And is there a better special teams kicker and punter than who they have? So it's not like a one-phase wonder where you go, whoa, this offense is dynamite. They can beat you in a lot of different ways.
I also noticed this season, especially, Les Snead bringing in a lot of older players, which is really helping the young set.
Yeah, any good team, you police yourself. And I think that's true of the Rams. There's the accountability, and I think keeping Fossil on board too. A lot of coaches, when they come in, head coach, especially a guy getting his first gig, they don't keep the interim guy around. But I think that shows Sean's comfortable in his own skin. He's comfortable in what he's doing, and boy, have they bought in.
How much fun was it to write this book?
I had a blast. Yeah, it's when you're following your passion and those names again. It was like peeling back the years for me. And some of the stories were pretty surprising, and we told the game, but we also told maybe a story or two leading up to it. Love the Mike Lansford story with Georgia Frontieri, and he had quite a few of those. But she would give the guys, and I will say he said she didn't know much about football. Please. But she would give him a gift every Christmas. And they're in Washington, D.C., getting ready for a big playoff game. And, when you go on the road, those guys have enough room for their pads, their cleats, and maybe a bandage. There's not much room in those bags. She gives the Christmas present. They can't put it in their bag. They go to Washington, D.C., get off the bus. It's RFK Stadium. It's the Hogs. It's as old school as NFL as you get. And there's 53 big grown men Rams walking off with their gift, which was a Cabbage Patch doll. So they go in, and how'd that work out for you, Mike? He goes, not very good. We got killed. So not only did they get killed, they had to come back out with their cabbage, hearing it from the rest. So it's stories like that, and I think, too, when you talk to the guys, they're proud to be Rams. I know fans have that connection, but these guys, put their body on their line, and some of them are walking funny because of it, and but there's that pride, and that really comes through when you talk to them.
One of the legends that didn't play this game but is in the book is Dick Enberg. Tell us a little bit about him.
Dick was from 1966 to 77 was the announcer with the Rams. One of his big breaks, that and working UCLA, he was just a KTLA sportscaster, and he got on here, and through that he met Merlin Olsen, and they became teammates.
Okay, where can we find the book?
It's at Amazon, of course. All the local bookstores have it, and they're nice enough to carry the book here at the Ram games, and we're having a nice book signing today. And that's really cool about the book signings. Yes, you sign the book, but the stories people share with you. Going with my dad, going with my brother, there's that connection. And because there was a kind of a 2-decade lull here, a lot of the jerseys you see are Youngblood and are the Gabriel and Olsen. So that bode wells too. That shows that legacy, that history. Few franchises can hang with the Rams with that.
And that will do it for today's show. But join us next time when we're going to talk Rams playoffs. I'm Maria Serrao, and we'll see you next time.